Welcome to Playbook for Performance, the official podcast of Shauna Corden, the Joan of Arc for corporate healing and performance. Join the quest to make work fun again by preparing leadership for engaging workplaces. And now, your host.
Hi, and welcome back to another edition to the Playbook for Performance podcast. I'm your host, Shauna Corden, and this month we're going to be talking about team coaching. Specifically, today we're going to be talking about the team as an organism. So you might be thinking, okay, why do I want to hear about this? Big deal, team coaching, so what? There's individual coaching, there's team coaching, there's group coaching. Well, there's more to it. 20 years ago, I would have agreed with you. Recently, I went through my team coaching certification with Brown University. I have learned a lot. Historically, if you asked me about team coaching, 20 plus years ago when I went through my coach training, there was this idea that there were individuals, one-on-one. There was team coaching, which was individuals reporting to the same leader, whether it be their manager that wrote their evaluations or whether it was a project manager. So it could be they were members of different teams that reported into a cross-functional team manager for the purposes of the project. Or it could be like, for example, a sports team, right? They all report to the same coach. And then there was group coaching. And group coaching was this idea that they either had some sort of affinity, meaning they all were interested in the same topic, like mindfulness. Or it could be that they had some affinity. They all were members of the Women's Society for Engineers, something like that. And as a coach, when I coached groups, I would either have kind of a topic arranged for them, like let's go back to mindfulness, this idea of here's our loose agenda for the next 4 weeks. At the beginning of every group coaching session, we're going to have a mini lesson, mindfulness 101. And then we're going to prompt the the group about their questions about mindfulness 101. And then we would group them. If there were 3 out of the 6 that were interested in meditation, we'd coach on meditation, and then we would take the other 3 one by one with their individual topics. And if it came to affiliate coaching, it may or may not be organized around a topic, but we would basically look at individual coaching topics that may apply to one or more people, and hopefully address the group needs in that manner. When it came to the team, historically, I would treat them really like a group, and treat the coaching of that team in the same way, not looking at them as an organism. I would look at them as parts of this whole and treat them as individuals, almost neglecting the culture of the team as a whole. And to borrow some terminology from a colleague, I had reported this in my final paper, this idea of historically I treated the team when I was as the sage on the stage. I was the coach, like imparting wisdom to these folks. Now I really see myself as the guide from the side, in that I'm looking at the team's interactions with one another, the culture of the team, how they interact with one another, and just this general vibe of, what's the culture of the team? What's accepted in this team? What's applauded in this team? And so on. And my approach has changed dramatically based on the evolution of how the ICF is looking at team coaching and this certification. So History 101 for team coaching for you. Now, I think historically we have always known that there were good teams and bad teams. we would maybe attribute the good to good leaders, bad to bad leaders. The data shows that people do not leave companies, they leave managers. They either have the perception or the lack of mobility that says, I can't go to another team laterally, I cannot move up in the organization due to this person or the circumstances of the organization, therefore I'm going to leave. I think it's pretty common what the situation is in terms of bad leaders not presenting a good vision, not translating that vision into individual responsibilities, not holding people accountable, inconsistent or unpredictable methodologies in terms of how they'll respond to situations. Definitely if they're reactive, those are all attributes of poor leaders for certain. I think bad teams also have very similar attributes in terms of there might be this surface level congeniality, but it means that they don't have each other's backs when it comes to dire situations. It could be anything from somebody's got to stay late and work all weekend because there's a big pitch on Monday and something failed. Do the other team members pitch in, or do they say, not my job? I'm not too worried about it. Or do they have this kind of harmony, but they don't hold each other accountable? Maybe they're not specific enough about actions and expected results. There could be a lot of things that contribute to bad teams. Sometimes it's just the overall snarkiness, right? It's that passive aggressive tendency because people are skeptical. How do people get skeptical? They have repeated unmet expectations. They know people aren't going to follow through or something like that. I don't believe those people are born. I think they're made, sadly. But when we look at teams and we look at coaching teams, now with this new enlightened approach, I think it's this terrific opportunity. I've always enjoyed doing what I call a jump start, whether it's a new leader, whether it's business planning, whether it's a significant change in the team, to get started on the fundamentals. Why do we exist? Our purpose. What are we here to do? Our mission. What do we think the vision of the organization is going to be? What do we look like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? And then what are our values, right? Because as team members evolve, the values of the team evolve naturally. And the opportunity to hold each other accountable to live to those standards of the values. This is how we're going to operate. This is what's important to us. This is what we go to bat for. These are the rites of passage, things like that. Do we celebrate with one another? Those are teams that we want to be a part of. And I've loved being a part of those conversations as a facilitator, as a historical team coach. But now, with my newfound understanding on team coaching, I'm taking this to a whole new level so that this team is not dependent on me to operate cleanly, efficiently. They really are building it with one another. Again, the guide from the side, not the sage from the stage. And so this idea of kind of hovering above, observing the dynamic, speaking to the team as a whole versus addressing individual team members, as I would have before, kind of leveraging that one-on-one coaching mentality. And so as tempting as it might be to call out someone who is not performing or seems to be missing the boat on the topic, instead I'm calling the attention to the team. Does everybody seem on the same page? What's the opportunity here? Things like that. And these are all to drive the team to be better, more efficient, more productive, obviously to make the company more profitable and to retain that talent, because top talent, we know that only 20% statistically of teams or members are engaged, right? 80% are either there kind of punching in and out, doing their thing, but not with a lot of passion or reliability. And then there's some that are just waiting to get fired, sadly. And as long as the team tolerates that, that's more of what they'll get. It's that old adage of we train people how to treat us. As a team, they train people how to treat the team and the membership of the team. So are we talking about the team as it's a privilege and there's high standards here and high expectations? Or is it like, yeah, anything goes, just be sure not to light the place on fire as you exit. So we really want to retain the top talent. We want to make it engaging for that top 20%. We don't want to lose them because of what we're tolerating with the rest of the team. So there's so much work to do in this team coaching space. I'm super excited about it. I think that the opportunities are endless. The other thing that I've really changed in my approach about this whole team coaching is that I used to be, basically on deck forever with any given team. I'd work with the leader, probably coach them one-on-one, and then I'd work with the team on these workshops and events, and then I was kind of on call forever. It wasn't like I was, had a seat at the table for every team meeting, but certainly around a lot to the point where I was almost a member of the team. And now I really think that it can be in and out kind of sweet little engagements where it's this prepping with the leader to set the stage, get things ready, understand the team, work with the team on those opportunities like, mission, vision, team values, etc. Probably able to accomplish all that within a 6-month period. And then obviously can be on call. One of the things I'm super excited about in my team coaching practice is partnering with an AI tool that allows for the team to do these pulse surveys where it's like, okay, as a team, how are we doing on accountability? Survey the team, see the immediate result, and talk about, well, okay, how can we action this? What's the discussion that we need to have about this topic? And this tool can actually help prompt that. Not only that, it uses the personality assessments of the individual team members to say, hey, you may not be sure what to say in this given situation, but based on your personality type and the results that you've got here, your strengths are X, Y, and Z. And this is what you can do to help contribute to this situation or this conversation. Really helpful prompts. And so I like to introduce this, early on in the engagement, and then they've got this tool when I'm gone, and they've got me on call. So the team is not, 100% with me or nothing with me. They've got a little bit of both and some tools to help facilitate. So very excited about that. And I think that the ideas behind this in terms of the Gallup's Q12, Amy Edmondson's research on psychological safety, all of these things contribute to the benefits of team coaching. And we'll talk about these all months, but real excited about this. So I want to pause here for now. Remind you, of course, that leadership coaching is available, but team coaching, team workshops, if you're new to a team, a new leader to a team, you're trying to get your feet beneath you, using team coaching for this can be super helpful. And these can be tailored to whatever your needs are, your budget is, etc. So if you're catching this on audio, do know that this podcast is also on YouTube. You can catch us on YouTube. So please join us out there as well. You can leave comments below the video. Of course, we love a thumbs up. We love a 5-star review out on the podcast app that you're listening to. And please write us. Tell us what you are interested in learning more about, especially if it comes to teams within this month here. You can reach us at podcast@shaunacorden.com. And until next time, take good care.